Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 143rd episode of my series where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. While maybe not quite as grand and epic as the giants we started this group off with, my third choice for this set of 2000s gems comes from one of hip-hop's true enigmas of an MC, Aesop Rock. I'm not sure which episode it was at this point, but I know in some earlier video I had mentioned how Aesop was the first underground MC I ever was exposed to. At least it was definitely between him and Idea. Either way, when I was in middle school and heard Aesop's None Shall Pass for the first time, I remember being absolutely blown away because I didn't know that such lyrically abstract and dense things could be done with rap. That track honestly still blows me away today because just like virtually everything he's ever penned, his writing is so dense and layered that I find myself catching new things I never noticed before, even though it's been a good decade since I first heard that song. There's a chart that I'll leave a link for down below that came out in the mid 2010s, I think. So keep in mind the results may be different today, though it's also possible they might update that site occasionally. I have no idea. Either way, outside of a couple other lyrical monsters like Jizza or Bus Driver, Aesop is pretty much leagues ahead of the pack when it comes to this scale of MCs by who's the most lyrically diverse, holding the number one spot. If you're familiar with his discography, this may not be a giant shocker, but some of his newer fans may not realize just how long this mastermind has been in the game. Considering he dropped his first two LPs, Appleseed and Float, all the way back in '99, before making his Def Jux debut with 2001's Labor Days. I was considering doing his follow-up to this LP, 2003's Bazooka Tooth. However, this collaboration isn't with El Producto, it's with Blockhead, who puts together this amazing group of instrumentals that feel expressive, cold, and futuristic all at the same time. I feel like these beats must have been made with Aesop in mind specifically because he lyrically dances across each one effortlessly, incorporating all sorts of creative and forward-thinking flows. I definitely want to share some of my favorite verses to come off of Labor Days here, just to give a sample for people who aren't familiar and want a little example of this lyrical wizardry I keep referencing. Luckily, I can back it up because I could put a blindfold on and pick a random section of any song from his discography, and I'd come back with insanely complex, coded food for thought. One part I want to share is this legendary opening verse from the killer second track here, where Aesop serves up a cocktail of metaphors and vivid imagery, starting with, "Put one up for shackle me not, clean logic procreation. I did not invent the wheel, I was the crooked spoke adjacent. While the triple sixers lassos keep angels roped in the basement, I walk the block with a halo on a stick poking your patience. Y'all catch a 30-second flash visual, dirty cooperative med platoon, Bloom head trip split ridiculous, fathom the splicing of first generation, fuck up with trickle down anti-hero smack kraken. I pace me game to 0 hour completion Cretan splash, Duke of early retirement, Picket dream, American nightmare hogging the screen. I'll hold the door open so you can stumble in if you'd stop following me round the jungle gym. Now it's honor and I spell it with the H I stole from heritage, merit crunched on the wretched, refused of my teeming resonance. I promise tempest tasked breed with a bleeding conscience, see the creed accents responsive, but my spores divorce the wattage. And I'm sleeping now. Yeah, the settlers laugh. You won't be laughing when your covered wagons crash. You won't be laughing when the buzzards drag your brother's flags to rags. You won't be laughing when your front lawn's spangled with epitaphs. You won't be laughing, and I'll hang my boots to rest when I'm impressed, so I triple knot him and forgot him. His origami dream is beautiful, but man, those wings will never leave the ground without a feather and a lottery ticket. Now settle down. And then he goes into the legendary chorus, all I ever wanted was to pick apart the day, put the pieces back together my way. Another moment I love is towards the back end of the LP, the very last song, in fact, where Blockhead cooks up one of my favorite beats on the entire project for Shovel. This pulsing, horn-filled instrumental has an epic quality while still fitting the ominous aesthetic the rest of the album set, while Aesop Rock tackles the song from an almost Bone Thugs and Harmony inspired place. But this approach strangely works and totally pays off for me, making for one of my favorite hooks on the album. While I'm not going to read another entire verse, I do want to share a few more personal favorite bars from this thing, considering even just one line can leave you in confusion if you aren't keeping up. One example comes on the very first song on Aesop's third studio LP here, where he gives us gems like, "Who put the monkey wrench in well-oiled perfectionist emblem just to watch these monitors spit white noise through your office space?" Or even just clever little snippets like, "I twist characters like twist characters." The last one I want to share is when he says, "Yo, change the fucking channel, I burn a coma candle. When the flame fades, consider my flatline a soldier's sample." Clearly referencing the previous track, Coma, in a pretty creative way, but there's really no lack of outside-the-box ideas on Labor Days, from story tracks describing various detailed stages of a woman's life from childhood to deathbed, to disturbing concept songs about sleepwalking, to put it lightly and simply. That's just what I can garner, though, because as I described at length, Aesop Rock is really as coded as a lyricist as you can get, and don't hit me with some nonsense about none of it meaning anything or making any sense, because people try and say the same thing about Doom, and it's honestly just embarrassing. Just because you put the song on one time and didn't understand it right away, that doesn't mean that this is just random word salad that sounds phonetically pleasing but doesn't actually have substance. Both Blockhead and Aesop himself contribute the bulk of the beats here, but there is also one song that's produced by Omega One, as well as two features by Logic and C-Ray's Walls. For honorable mentions on this underground landmark, I think I'd go with Shovel, Coma, Labor, Save Yourself, Flash Flood, One Brick, Battery, and Boombox Apocalypse. When it comes down to my three favorite tracks overall here, I think I'd have to go with Bent Life, Daylight, and the Tugboat Complex Part 3. Thank you for watching my 143rd video. Next time we have another landmark of late 90s, early 2000s underground hip hop. So tune in for that one. And if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what moments off Labor Days you return to the most. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.